Chapter 3. Robot. Mustafa Bey lived in an underground tower, squeezed between garbage disposal pits in one of the neighborhoods densely populated by corporate citizens. As the intrusive lights of the shopping center across from the tower flickered on its ostentatious entrance, the children collecting scrap metal, trying to hack the pits, would cover their faces to avoid being seen by corporate police. Yet when one of the pits short-circuited and caught fire, it was the state police who would first rush into the underground tower. Mustafa Bey was the manager of the tower and the citizen representative of the company. As the representative of about 300 people in this 50-story underground tower, he functioned like the building's breathing tube or fiber optic bundle, and represented about 1,000 people in the neighboring towers, along with the corporate citizens there. As a corporate representative, Mustafa Bey would buy gifts for the children of his citizens and pay attention to listening to their small family problems. He always carried a few extra travel vouchers in his pocket, saying that the company's policy was for its citizens to travel freely. He was known as a good person. It hadn't been long since he lost his wife and 3 children in a terrible traffic accident. Mustafa Bey began to show serious adaptation problems after the horrific accident that took his family. Despite his insistence on not taking a break from his duties, his inconsistent behavior showed he was going through a difficult period. Although he wasn't a stutterer, he would start stuttering, deliberately, at the most impactful point of his sentences. His words hung in the air, as if they belonged to a completely different scene, and the dissonance between his words did not go unnoticed. Everything he talked about had an issue. For instance, he wouldn't stop talking about the rare plants he grew in capsules with different atmospheric mixtures in his garden. Although his great pain deserved every understanding, the special air cartridges he used in his capsules did not actually interest anyone. His insistence on locking eyes with the person in front of him gave the impression of being pulled into a great void. It seemed like he was trying to disturb, or perhaps seeking help, as one of his curious neighbors said. Sudden character changes in people who have experienced great pains were not unheard of. Such people's sense of humor, even their political views, could change overnight. Perhaps the real problem lay with Mustafa Bey's sister, who appeared after his wife and children died. There was something off in this relationship, and people felt an irresistible urge to dig into it and poke their noses. Another rumor was that Mustafa Bey had gotten a new implant, which provided a consistent explanation for his erratic behavior. It had long been known that new implants could lead to personality changes. These changes were balanced with small updates called post-neural mapping adjustments to ensure the new implant's compatibility with brain cells. Nevertheless, the fact that such a radical change coincided with the time Mustafa Bey lost his family was puzzling. A new day was dawning in the underground tower. As the intrusive lights of the shopping center went out, the metal-collecting children, ending their night shifts, dispersed into the city like formless shadows. Mustafa Bey opened his eyes. The first light of day was beginning to fall on his sister sitting across from him. As the woman's hefty body rose from her seat and moved out of view, his own body straightened in the chair where it had been slumped. He had sat motionless all night, waiting for the morning with various thoughts in his mind. As he walked to his office, he began to follow his sister, who appeared beside him with steady steps.